Hey there, welcome to day 756 of What's She Up To Now. Just because I couldn't think of a name a couple of years ago when I started to do this daily video log of documenting my journey as I go from brick and mortar corporate businesses to the online world of business and navigate that, figure it out, figure out what works, what doesn't work. And a lot of people would want you to believe that they hopped online and within 30 days they were this overnight success. They're driving their Lamborghini, they're living in their mansions, etc. And offline, my life didn't work that way. And online, my life hasn't worked that way. And sometimes I compare myself to others just like everybody else does, which as soon as I realize I'm doing it, I stop and I go do something productive and I do one thing that moves me toward my personal goal or objective, what I want. And that's how I kill the compare myself to others thing. Do we all do that? Oh my God, yes. It's impossible. It's human nature to look around us and see things that we want. And normally somebody else has something that we want. And so we get a little envious. We get a little jealous of that. We don't have to live there. We can feel it and experience it and then say, okay, that's awesome. I'm super happy for them. How can I do that too? And instead of being jealous or envious, we look at it and we say, holy crap, if that person can do it, I can do it too. So that is an aside of what I was thinking about and talking about today. Challenges. I'm thinking about, of course, challenges every day. I pretty much think about challenges every day, all day, and how I can flip the switch on them and turn them around, right? How to make challenges into change, how to turn challenges into change. How I believe challenges create change. When we're going along and everything's working hunky-dory for us and the status quo feels okay or good enough, it doesn't create any pain or frustration or anxiety or disruption in our lives, we don't really make any changes, right? When things are going smoothly, we just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's only when something comes into our life to disrupt that smooth river flowing that we feel any kind of discomfort or pain. And we only make changes when we feel some kind of a discomfort or pain, right? If everything's going well, we don't change anything. Our ego and our subconscious keep us just trucking along that track, and we don't go off that track. We don't look for solutions. We don't do anything different. So I truly believe that it's with the challenges and the obstacles and the roadblocks and the things that come into our life out of the blue, that's how we become who it is that we're here to become. That's how we experience, both good and bad in our own definition, the things that we're here to experience to help us grow and be the human beings that we're supposed to be, to have the adventure here that we're supposed to have. Because life, even on the bad times, it's an adventure, right? It's something that we can step back from and say, okay, that really sucked. That was horrible. That was terrible and traumatic, and it really hurt me. And it usually sometimes takes us years to get to this point. It doesn't have to, but it almost always does. To look back and say, okay, that was terrible, but guess what? That's the best thing that ever happened to me. And maybe I'm just getting older and more thoughtful about experiences, because I'm sure when I was going through some of the stuff I've gone through, because I've been through a lot of crap, I'm sure when I was going through it, I wasn't talking about it in this rational, calm way, right? I was dying on the inside and out, literally, in a couple of instances. So challenges, I'm thinking about challenges a lot. I'm actually day 4, I think it's day 4 already, woohoo! Day 4 of my no sugar challenge. I'm just doing a 5-day no sugar challenge to kind of clean out my system and just take a reset. Sometimes we just need a reset for a lot of things in our life. And most of us don't have, we will never stop and step back and say, okay, this isn't working for me. My habits had slipped over the holidays, got the flu over the holidays. I can make all kinds of excuses, but I noticed that my habits had slipped and I was letting a lot more sugar and processed foods into my daily routine. And I haven't done that for a long time, for like a few years. And every once in a while I'll go through a little phase of sweets, but I haven't not snipped it in the bud. And for it was February, mid-February, and I'm like, yeah, not feeling awesome. I'm not having the energy I should have. I'm feeling sleepy in the afternoons and lethargic. That's so not like me. So what's changed? Well, I thought about it and looked at it. Number one, I'm not moving around nearly as much as I normally do, and I usually do. I'm in a transition. I'm moving, selling my house, and as such, I got rid of all my exercise room and my exercise equipment, which now hindsight always being 2020 was a big mistake, because winter in Wisconsin, here I was where I'm staying right now. I thought, oh, no problem, great walking places, I can go for walks, thinking, of course, that I could go for walks all winter long, forgetting that I tend to be sort of a klutz. And so the last thing I want to be doing is walking around outdoors in the ice and slippery conditions, because I don't want to be laying down in the middle of a path with a broken or hurt anything or even a sprained ankle in the winter. You know, just don't want to do it. It's cold outside. I don't want to be hurt. And the older I get, the less I like falling down. So hindsight being 2020, should not have gotten rid of all my exercise equipment. But of course, we always find ways to work through that. So not moving as much as I should. And I noticed as I looked at, I did a couple things that I will admit were bad. For years now, since my sudden cardiac arrest, every single day I have written down everything I've eaten, with the exception of a couple of times. And one of those times has been since the holidays this year, January and February. I have been really bad about, and I always have these little notebooks where I just write down everything I drink and eat every day. It helps me to keep track of water, helps me to keep track of what I'm eating, and it holds me accountable and honest to what I'm actually consuming. I can have and eat and do whatever I want, but I got to write it down. So there's always this little trigger in my head that says, do you really want to write down that you ate half a gallon of, well, I wouldn't eat half a gallon of ice cream, but a pint of ice cream? Do you really want to write down that you had a giant piece of cake? And so that would just kind of stop me in my tracks, and I would double think and say, yeah, I really don't need it. I'm just bored right now. Well, I had, over the holidays, got the flu, and I stopped writing stuff down. I didn't write it down. I didn't feel good enough. I didn't have enough energy to write it down. So that was my excuse for not doing it. And I realized that I'd stopped doing that. And by stopping doing that, I'm not holding myself accountable, and I let sugar sneak back into my life. And I hang out with my 4-year-old granddaughters, so have a lot more stuff around that I normally wouldn't eat, just for her. And then I find that when she's snacking on it, I'm snacking on it. And like, I needed to put the big timeout kibosh on that. So day 4 of that, going pretty well. Usually day 4 is the worst, hardest day. But yesterday I started something that my sister taught me about. It's like a 16-hour-a-day fast where you eat 8 hours during a day, and you only eat in an 8-hour window, and then the rest of the days in the 24 hours, the other 16 hours, you don't eat anything. You just don't eat. So normally people will not eat anything after 8 p.m. or so, and then not eat before noon the next day. So I'm doing that. I'm doing the not after 8 and don't eat till noon. And I've only done it one day, so I can't tell you, does it make me feel better or not? No idea. I'll let you know in about a week or two how it makes me feel. But I'm going to try that and do that for a couple of weeks and just see how it impacts me and makes me feel. Following my sudden cardiac arrest, and for my whole life, I've been told, you got to eat breakfast, you need to eat breakfast, you have to break your fast and start eating first thing in the day. But I'm one of those people where I have found when I eat breakfast, and I've been eating breakfast every day for at least the last 10 years, with a couple of exceptions, I find that I am starving and famished all day long. So I'm thinking this is a good thing for me personally to try and see how it works for me. See if it makes me feel better, and if it gives me more energy, if it gets me moving a little more, I'm all for it. My live challenge workshop coming up March 23rd. You guys, I'm getting more and more excited about it. And I've done a lot of these challenges before, but I'm getting excited about this one because the way I'm structuring it and putting it out there and branding it. And I think it's going to help a lot of people to get what they want. It's going to help them to attract the people they want to their business. It's going to help them do little things and get goals and things for their life and results in their life that they've wanted for a long time that they haven't really known how to go about getting. And like I said, it's been super successful and positive for me. And little things like, I want to break my sugar habit. I can do that in 5 days. A lot of people, it would take 5 years to stop eating sugar all the time, right? I did it to break my fast food habit. One of my happiest days ever was when my kids decided they didn't need to eat at McDonald's anymore. They didn't really want to go to McDonald's anymore. And sorry, McDonald's, if that offends you, but if you're a parent and a busy parent and a working parent, and you probably know what I'm talking about. Fast food has become so readily available and easy, and at least it was, my son just turned 29 last week, so it's been a long time. But when the kids were little and everything was going on in our busy lives, because guess what? Our lives are just getting busier and busier. They're not getting less busy. It was easy to go through the drive-thru or hop into McDonald's and feed the kids something, so they had something to eat before practice or whatever. And I remember being so happy when they stopped going there, because there wasn't really anything I would eat at McDonald's. Now they've gotten better items on their menus, and I would have a salad or something, or an ice cream cone. Ice cream cones were actually one of the best, healthiest things on their menu. So I'd go in and I'd have an ice cream cone, and the kids would eat a meal, which, you know, wasn't my best mothering moments when I fed them that stuff. But we did. So breaking my fast food habit, exercising, starting to get myself to exercise, I did through a challenge. Almost every result that I get nowadays, I set myself up with a challenge to achieve that result faster than most people could even imagine possible. It's almost miraculous, the results that you can get when you commit to something and set it up as a challenge for yourself, and then don't give yourself an out. Once I commit to something, I have to figure it out. There's no turning back, and that's why I'm careful what I commit to. But if I commit to it, it's like I'm going to make it happen no matter what. I'm going to figure it out. And that's what I like about challenges. That's how I define it. That's how it works for me personally. So working on challenges. I'm working on the worksheets for the workbook. I gave myself the whole weekend to create this workbook for the challenge for March 23rd. And I'm committing right now to next time I do this challenge, because I'm going to do it again, I will have a professional graphic designer or graphic design person create and recreate. I need to do the work anyway, so why not create a decent looking product the first time? It'll be decent, but it will not be professional. I am not a professional graphic designer. I'm freaking legally blind, for goodness sake. Should I be designing anything? No. So next time around, I'm not committing to it this time because I want to get it done. I am one of those people that likes to be involved in the process of figuring out how to do something the first time, and before I hand it off and I expect someone else to do it, I want to have identified what are the results, what are the outcomes I need to have, and then you go about creating whatever you want. But this is how I want it to feel. This is how I want it to kind of look. But then you go and put your magic professional eyes on it and fix it and clean it up for me. I will absolutely positively clean all this stuff up next time. I am going to look for someone to clean up my social media across the board. And I know I've been talking about this for 2 years, probably almost as long as I've been doing this daily log. Getting a consistent image and consistent look and feel across all of my social media platforms. I do not have that. I'm starting it a little bit, but I do not have it. And it changes over time, right? Who we are and how we want to represent ourselves changes over time. But I definitely need a professional photo shoot. People definitely know what you see is what you get with me, probably because of the thousands of videos I've made, but also I want that. I want people to know that this is who I am and what I look like now. Now, if you look at some of my videos from last year, geez, I had hair down to the middle of my back. And so is that a big difference? No, my old face is still my old face. So I want to have that conveyed, but I also want a little bit spiffied up, more professional version. And of course, you know, almost daily, someone in my life, my close inner circle, asks me, when is Pajama Grandma going to die? When is she going to go away? And I will say, maybe yes, maybe no, maybe never, because to me, Pajama Grandma represents a freedom and a lifestyle and a comfort level that I, and a lot of people my age, aspire to live. We aspire to be free to do what we want, when we want, where we want, with whomever we want, wearing what we want, on our own time frame, right? On our own schedule, with whoever we want, with people that make us feel awesome. And to me, hanging out in my pajamas and my robe clearly represents the exact opposite of what my life has been up until the point where Pajama Grandma was born. Up to that point, I was like everybody else, wearing the uniform of whatever job I worked in, the veils of how I thought other people thought I should behave, and didn't feel very good for me, right? I was going through all the motions, doing all the things that I thought was right and that I should do. And I love the expression, quit shoulding all over yourself, because I was a queen shoulder, right? And queen judge and jury of my own thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and actions. And for the most part, I never came up, I never measured up to what I should be doing, could be doing, was expected to be doing. And I was doing a heck of a lot. So, challenges, love challenges. But I also know part of my challenges are to ask for help in the areas that I know that I don't even really like doing. I mean, I don't like, I've got a podcast that has, I don't know, 20, at least, I don't even remember how many, over 2,000, let's just say for sure, over 2,000 episodes on it. And I have yet to put an intro and an outro on it. I don't have any music on it. I don't have any formal graphics for my podcast, right? Which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous to be thousands of episodes into anything and not have cleaned it up a little bit, right? It hasn't been a priority. It's kind of fallen to hey, I do live videos, so I might as well strip the audio and turn that into a podcast so that more people can listen to it. Because some people like to listen, some people like to read, some people like to see and watch videos. We're all different. We all learn differently. I like all different mediums at different times, depending on what's going on with me. I'm finding less and less that video is working for me and reading isn't working for me these days, but that's just me personally. How do I approach the people that I'm here to interact with? So, challenges. Worksheets today of the workbook. I think I got them mapped out, and it's just a matter of, okay, how am I going to present this and outline this? Because keep in mind, I can't read a teleprompter like other people can read a teleprompter to know what it is. Like, there's a lot of people doing live launches. Kelly Roach is doing the live launch challenge. She's turned that into her big signature thing. And there's a lot of people, you can tell her in her coaching program because they're doing the exact same thing. And they actually have a worksheet that they read off of, and they don't necessarily read off it, but you can see that they're reading a teleprompter in the background as they're talking about things and looking at and referring to and reminding them of things. Well, I can't see a teleprompter unless I stick my 62-inch screen TV up behind me, and then where I am right now, that's not really an option. So I have to kind of wing it. So my challenge is to figure out, how do I do this? How do I create a worksheet or something? And maybe I just have to have somebody with me that's prompting me and saying, hey, don't forget this or don't forget that. But I'll figure out a way. I'll figure out a way to do that. I've got, I've got exactly 1 month. Exactly a month from today, live challenge workshop launches. Woohoo! Exactly 1 month to figure it out. So I guarantee I'll have that figured out by then. How am I going to go through the information so that people can follow along in an easy, effortless way? Now, I am going to admit here and now that my biggest challenge doing this challenge is to simplify and to cut out, because I so often want to tell everybody everything, right? I want to share everything I've known, everything I've learned in 47 years, all the mistakes I've made, all at once. And that is a killer and an overwhelmer. So my challenge going through my workbooks and my workbook and my worksheets today is to say, okay, what are really the main points? Because you can't have 21 every day, Sharon. You have to have maybe three or four, right? 3 or 4 main things I'm going to cover. So, because otherwise it's overwhelming and people get lost. And I always boil it down to one main action thing. One main thing that you're going to do today, and it's going to give you a result and get you excited to move into the next day. So that's the easy part. It's always easy to tone it down to, hey, this is the one thing you have to do today. But it's the, how do I not overwhelm people with all the things I think and want them to know about doing a successful challenge, to make sure that their first one out of the gate is absolutely positively a home run and a success for them. It's by getting results, right? So that day 47, I think, of the fun challenge, doing one fun thing every day, and it was about, can't remember what it was about already. Oh, there's no place like home, and what do you love about your home? So that's it. That's what I'm working on. That's my biggest challenges. That's the things I know that I need to improve on and get better at in order to create the impact that I want to create. Online, right? Offline, it's really interesting. I had fantasized, like so many others, and been led to believe, but like so many others, that I would hop online and I would be an overnight 1-month success. I thought, all these people are doing this, maybe in a month or two, 6 months for sure, I would be duplicating the success that I had offline, online. Well, not so much, right? It's been more like my growth in the offline world, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's the same thing in the online world. And so one of my biggest lessons learned was that wherever you are the common denominator, and how you do things and how you learn and who you are and what you become impacts how you show up everywhere in the world, not just offline or online or at home or at work. You're the same person at the core wherever you are. So that's why taking care of you and developing you and learning and growing as a person is the best investment you can ever do. It's the most important thing that you can ever do. Your money is, and your resources and your time and energy is never wasted if you are adding value to who you are as a person. If you're learning or reading or growing or challenging yourself to do something, that is never wasted energy. Will you always get the result you want? No, absolutely not. But will you learn something from not getting? Okay, I have this belief that results are like anything else. They just are. And you are the one that judges whether a result is negative or positive. As an engineer and nerdy scientist type person, I am always trying to get a result. I want a result. It can be a negative result, and it shows me what doesn't work, and so I'll go the opposite direction in my next move forward. But I want to get a result. The worst thing that can happen is to have nothing happen, right? If I do something in my business, if I run let's say I run an ad, and I don't really run very many ads, but say I run an ad or I put a post on social media and it gets no reaction, that to me is the worst reaction I can get. I would rather put a post that gets a lot of negative reaction or a post that gets a lot of positive reaction than one that gets no reaction. Because if it gets negative reaction, guess what? I'm not going to probably do that anymore. If it gets positive reaction, I'm going to continue and move forward and do more of that. If it gets no reaction, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should do that same type of video or post again, or if I should, I normally don't do that same type again because it just didn't get any reaction. So we're looking for results. That's it. I've rambled long enough. Go out, make an absolutely amazing day. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow to journal and document what I'm doing as I transition from the brick and mortar world to the online world, so that you don't have to spend 756 days trying to figure out some of the things that I tried to figure out. That's it. Have a great day. If I can help you in any way, hit me up in the comments below. If you have a question, ask it. I found that one of the biggest things that slows us down in any area of our life or any endeavor is our fear of asking. Guess what? There aren't any stupid questions. The stupid thing to do is to keep it to yourself, not ask. Because I might not know the answer, but I bet I can find you somebody that does. All right. Have an absolutely fabulous day. I will catch you tomorrow. Bye.